and the places that you know seem like fantasy. There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold, with the truth, the promise in our hearts. Don't forget, I'm with you in the dark.
One winter evening, Thomas and Duck were at Tidmouth's sheds when Duck asked the question. "Thomas, you never told me about the time Miss Kyndley saved you from a landslide. Whatever happened?" asked Duck. Thomas politely responded, "All right, I'll tell you." One rainy December day, Thomas was puffing down the line to see Mrs. Kyndley. He was just going nicely when his driver noticed something in the distance. Near Mrs. Kyndley's cottage was a red dress waving from her window. "You better stop, men," said Thomas's driver. "Mrs. Kyndley might be in trouble." Thomas's driver stopped Thomas calmly nearby the house. "See if there's a doctor on board," said the fireman, as he went to look up the line. 2 other passengers went to see Mrs. Kyndley. Then the fireman came back. "We should head back to the station and get a good starting for Thomas," said the driver. "There's no point in doing that," said the fireman. "Just look up the line. Wouldn't be able to get through anyway." The driver looked up the line, and there was a massive landslide. "Oh, Jiminy Christmas," he said. "I think Mrs. Kyndley was trying to warn us." Thomas's driver went to see Mrs. Kyndley, where a doctor was waiting for her. "It was silly of me to faint," said Mrs. Kyndley. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine, ma'am," said Thomas's driver. "You saved our lives. Without you, we would have crashed into the landslide. Who knows how many people would have been hurt." "God bless you, ma'am," said Thomas's driver, happily. They cleared the line by Christmas Day, and Toby, Thomas, Annie, Clarabelle, and Henrietta with the Fat Controller all came to see Mrs. Kyndley. "I am very happy with you, Mrs. Kyndley," said the Fat Controller. "As a reward for helping us, I shall give you and your husband 2 tickets to Bournemouth, a VIP-type ticket." "Thank you, sir," said Mrs. Kyndley happily. As they made their way downstairs, Thomas, Toby, the coaches, and the passengers all sang carols for Mrs. Kyndley and her husband. Mrs. Kyndley and her husband had a wonderful time at Bournemouth, and Thomas and Toby could not wait for them to get back.